17F and 360 pounds, yet my mom says I'm selfish for wanting to lose weight. Hi, I made a post yesterday venting about school, but typing it made me realize I need to be fully accountable for my weight and really making effort towards weight loss, so I guess this is an official first post. I'm 361 pounds, weighed myself today, 5 feet 2 inches and 17F. I've been obese all of my life. I was 200 pounds when I was 10, for example, and that's partly because of how my parents raised me. My dad didn't really play a big role in it, but mom overfed me massively, and I also started binging when I was around 13, which caused me to gain a lot of weight. When I was 15, I tried to lose weight and lost about 30 pounds from eating in a deficit and working out, before my mom noticed and got mad at me, so I stopped. I've been trying to do this recently too, but my binging problem has gotten a lot worse and I feel like restricting makes me binge. My mom isn't really overweight herself, but she used to be, and I feel like she uses me as a punching bag for her previous insecurities because the rest of my siblings are a normal weight. She makes fun of me for being fat but also encourages it? It gets weird. I hate being overweight so much. Like I said on my other post, I can't fit comfortably on my school's chairs anymore, and it's been making me skip lessons. I don't dress nicely, I just wear whatever I can find in my size. I have no friends and have never had a boyfriend. I get bullied really badly, and people film me or take photos of me sometimes. I'm obviously not going to reveal my real name, but I have a nickname in school related to my name and weight, and I'm just overall really ashamed. I can't do sports class anymore and everyone makes fun of me for it because I get too out of breath and my legs start to really hurt. I could go on, but I think you get the point. Last night I sat my parents down and told them that I wanted to lose weight. I mentioned a lot of what I talked about above and the fact that it's really starting to impact my health and that I want to see a doctor. My dad didn't really get involved, mostly nodded with whatever my mom said. But my mom told me that I'm being selfish and that I'm ungrateful for the fact that she feeds me at all. She told me that she will get me nice clothes and speak to my teacher about bullying and that I can't fit in my chair, and that all of this is fixable without me losing weight. She said that it's okay if I'm bad at sports because I was never really good. I told her that she can't fix this stuff, and she said kids are mean anyway and they'd bully me for something else if they could. I tried to talk to her about it this morning, but she's just calling me selfish for bringing it up. I'm genuinely really lost and not sure where to go from here. I'm going to try Seco again while also being mindful of my binging, but I don't know what to do about my mom. I'm feeling really disheartened and weirded out. I don't know any explanation why she would act like this when I'm morbidly obese. A kid accidentally calls the police at school and they arrive to meet him. For context to how this happened, my friends and I were playing touch football down at our oval, and my friend Jim, not his real name, kept his phone in his pocket. This was breaking the school's rule of not having a phone on you at all times and keeping it in your bag or locker. Breaking this rule would result in a Tuesday where the troublemaker stays for a long detention after school hours. This will be important later. Anyway, Jim was swearing and saying the worst things that you could ever imagine while running with the ball. Then we heard a ding and he saw a notification from the police. It turns out he pocket-dialed the police. The cops probably heard him say those terrible things earlier because the call lasted 2 minutes. He then showed me and my mates what happened on the phone and we had a good laugh over it. I thought that was the end of it, but last period of school a cop car came into the school parking lot and 2 police officers came out and surprise, they were there for Jim. Jim was called to the front office, and boy, he was pretty nervous. When he was told to go to the front office he was sweating and his legs were shaking. He was gone for 20 minutes, and when he came back to class, he told me he had a Tuesday detention for having his phone out of class. However, 2 cops were pretty nice about it and knew it was a mistake dialing their number, but the school, on the other hand, weren't too happy with him for breaking the school rules. At the end of the day, things could have been much worse for him. Am I the jerk for getting mad at my dad for selling my car? When I was 16, I had a black SUV that was given to me by my grandparents, as my grandfather was getting a new car and they didn't need it anymore. The car was old, but it got me to and from my apartment, college, and work. However, 2 years later, the car began to have issues, and I ended up paying a couple grand to keep the car running. Eventually, I managed to save enough money to buy myself a new car that would be more reliable, and decided to sell my old one for some extra cash. I dropped off my car at a mechanic so they could fix it up before I sell it. However, it's important to note that the mechanic my family goes to is actually my dad's uncle. So, while I was at work one day, I happened to notice a strangely familiar black SUV, and after taking a closer look, my suspicion was confirmed. It was my old car, now decorated with a "baby on board" sticker on the back window. After asking my dad about it, it turns out that he sold the car himself. Assuming he did this out of kindness so I didn't have to go through that process, I asked him about the money, and that's when he told me that there was no money left, and when I asked him where the money went, he told me he used it to buy my brother a new car. My brother was 14 at the time, and failed to get his learner's permit, twice. I was mad about him selling the car I put so much money into, but he wouldn't budge that he was in the right to sell it. When I told my grandparents about it, they said that they thought my dad told me that he sold the car. When my grandparents asked why that was, my dad had no answer, but responded by saying that the car wasn't for my brother, but was a new family vehicle, so my grandparents dropped the subject. It's been months since this incident, and it's still very frustrating for me to wrap my head around. TLDR, my dad sold my car without telling me, and kept the money so he could buy my brother his own car. So, am I the jerk for getting mad at my dad for selling my car? Edit, for those who are asking who was on the title, it was me and my grandfather. Also, for those saying I should take legal action against my dad, I don't really want to. This is mostly because he is my father, and also because, while he doesn't help me with rent or bills, he does pay for my college tuition. Second edit, sorry, I was mistaken, before. It was me and my grandfather's name on the registration. The title had only my grandfather's name on it, not mine, too. Am I the jerk for not giving my dad a kidney after he left me for years? I, 19F, have been recently asked for a kidney by my father after going no contact for 14 years. He had another donor in line, but it was a month away and he didn't want to wait that long and I was a match. I was utterly disgusted because he had yelled and abused my mom for years and he only reached out for me just for a kidney. I was just in shock. I didn't know how to respond. But I eventually sent him a simple email saying no. He started going ballistic on me, saying that you didn't care about your father, and saying that he was gonna die, which he wasn't because of the other donor, but then I told him again that he wasn't there for me for 14 years and expected me to give him a kidney just because he didn't want to be in the hospital? And blocked his email. Some people are calling me a jerk, because I didn't help out my father, so tell me, was I the jerk?